All right. I kind of want to explain here the counterfeit spirit, the black flame of the unholy spirit, uh, and attributes of the seven spirits that come with under the Holy Spirit. It's like got the spirit of knowledge. You know what I'm saying? And that's versus the black flame of, and literally the black flame is being it's the spirit of pride. Okay, so it all falls under this spirit of pride. Pride is rebellion against God. It's self-exaltation. It's apotheosis. It's Gnosticism. It's it's basically it's Satanism. Satanism is just a very broad terminology for all these different humanistic ideologies, man. Philosophy. That's the philosophy is just a branch of Gnosticism, which is through knowledge you will attain godhood. You know what I'm saying? And it's called ascension, basically. Uh. Anyway, okay. So the spirit of knowledge versus the spirit of a little bit of knowledge. A little bit of knowledge puffeth up, and then from it becomes pride, and then people get this spirit, and it's like a, it looks like it's got knowledge, but they get it, they put it in power, and it folds under the power and corrupts itself because the knowledge didn't bring forth the fruit of the next one, which is wisdom. You know what I'm saying? See, that spirit of wisdom, you can in Jeremiah it says, ye are wise to do evil, but to do good you have no knowledge. So you see how, because you think you're wise, professing you be wise, you become fools. You make yourself a fool. True wisdom comes, and a man's gonna have many sorrows which he can speak on if he has real wisdom, because that's what becomes of it. You know, it's like the more wise you truly become, there's no way you can look at the world and not see what's wrong with it. That doesn't mean you're gonna see what's right about it too, but in the world, around people, and among the systems of the world and the philosophies and ideologies, you're going to see so much wrong. That's, and then you know that the sorrow from that can make you very cold, and you can actually, it's like the cops who become very morbid from, and where they stop really, they forget why they even do their job. They just kind of go through it like a zombie robot, and they project what they see on society, and therefore it's a darkened view. It's just dark as the fucking serial killer they're trying to catch. You know what I'm saying? That their view is of things. The spirit of understanding. There's, then you could say, then there would be the spirit of misunderstanding. You know what I'm saying? Where instead of people, like, I realize this, it's like, listen, the Pharisees were committed, utterly committed to misunderstanding anything Jesus said. And by doing it, since he was quoting from the Bible so much, whether he was expounded on it or not, they couldn't dispute the fact that he was quoting from the freaking Bible. And they were, so therefore their committee to misunderstanding him transpired into misunderstanding the word altogether. You know what I'm saying? And missing the they wanted to judge and not judge with mercy ever. You know what I'm saying? They would look for any reason to persecute you under the law. And Gad had that spirit in the Testament of the patriarchs towards just Joseph. You know what I'm saying? It can be, that spirit can be applied to a people. Here's the thing about pride too: black pride, white pride, national pride. Anytime you say an ethnic group and put pride behind it, that's the wrong kind of pride. That's that evil pride. That's that you feel that you got grace from God, favor, which means favor for spreading a divisive race doctrine. You know what I'm saying? That's not the spirit of, that's, once again, that's the black flame. You can look at the Nazis and the Japs and the Chinese, all of them, and the Russians too. They've all, and America. We are not innocent of a Fourth Reich type of a mindset that has been here. Excuse me. Here as an undertone. Okay, then you got the fourth is the spirit of counsel. See, to use godly counsel is an awesome thing. But to flip that, it's once again that wise to do evil. They do it through lying in wait. And basically Sun Tzu describes that as a premeditated plot. It's more like when you see those movies where dudes rob a bank and they're all sitting in a room and they got the plan of the building and they got a bunch of little props they move around and they make a plan like it's really sophisticated, like they really did their homework. That's what exactly what that's called. That's called doing the homework of that job right there. You know what I'm saying? And basically they sit and they do these same plans against the righteous. That's the spirit of evil counsel. That's connivery. That's the art of war. Let's lie in wait with soldiers. Let them perceive a weakness. They use deception to draw you in to a confrontation so you can look guilty, or it's your own fault if you fall into the trap, basically. And they'll set up, and look, you can look at think tanks, neoconservative think tanks. And these tie right into corporations, and you can see how the council, look, the legalese law of the sea, a maritime amnesty law, that's the spirit of counsel, but it's the unholy counsel. On the other hand, all right, the spirit of God's might. Okay, that's like David being courageous, or like even in the book of Maccabees, there's a hero dude named, like, it's funny, there's a Judas who betrayed Christ, and then there's a Jewish Judas who was valiant against the Romans and the Greeks or whatever. So there's a spirit of God's might that is put on certain people, or like Abraham when he went with 1,300 or 318 guys to reclaim Lot in the book of Jasher. That's God's might. That's when God has put a mighty spirit on a group of people or a person to go and do justice in the earth and to avenge, the revenger. You know what I'm saying? That was from God at one point in time, and at the time it was necessary. We're out of that time now. God is our revenger, but it's still important to look at these things sometimes. Just because we don't utilize God's might like they used to have to depend on, the enemy will use the evil rage, the evil deception, the evil propaganda. They use propaganda to invoke fear and rage, and it's basically they're developing a scarecrow, and they're going to scapegoat a group of people that are their political adversaries, and they use people's rage, which is a demonic black flame, demonized group of people who, in this self-righteous indignation, like pitchforks and like lynchings. That's basically what the opposite of the spirit of God's might is. And these people thought they was Christians, the people that used to do these mobbings and lynchings. So you know what I'm saying? This stuff's real tricky, man. It can get away from you real easy. Okay, then there's the spirit of the Lord. That's, you know what I'm saying? That's basically the Holy Spirit. So listen, if you do all those other 5 things to a certain point, you're gonna invoke the spirit of the antichrist himself, the devil's freaking spirit, which means you'll be spirited as the devil is. And it says, because iniquity was found in thee, wait, O Lucifer, how art thou fallen? You'll be fallen. And it says, what comes before a fall? Pride. Once again, the pride. If you're so prideful, especially in something that's wrong, and that's where pride goes really wrong, is you'll be proud of something that is totally freaking backwards, and your own backsliding is reproof against you. You know what I'm saying? That, look, you're in that bad a state of mind that you think what you're doing is right. That is proof of how twisted and backwards you really are. And through the spirit of the Antichrist, you got to think, it's also like the Holy Spirit affects groups of people. The Antichrist spirit whips up rebellions and riots and plots and schemes and deceptions and betrayals and falsehoods, and they use falsehoods to generate people that will use force. And either way, it's there's normally a third party like the devil's minions who sits in the wings in the backdrop and facilitated a group. It's like imagine if the cops went and dressed as Bloods and Crips and went as the opposite gang members and did drive-bys at funerals out in the open, but it was really a third party that came in and agitated two groups of people, then put them on each other. Then there's the fear of the Lord. The fear of the Lord, that's a funny word how they said it. It's kind of a trick because fear seems like it's always negative, but in the sense of it's a reverence, like you fear your parents will spank you, but there's a point where your parents don't even have to spank you, and you'll feel so ashamed for your deeds that you fear putting making them feel so bad because there's nothing they can do to change the way you are going to act at this moment. So if you don't feel that fear, that if you lack that check and balance there, if you can, if you do, it's like if you don't fear, if you don't give people their proper respect as well, if you give God his proper respect, it'd be better. Respect of the Lord, which means you respect God, you will try harder to not be disrespectful and speak out of turn. Speak, uh, uh, get get pride, get puffed up, get full of anger and vengeance and bitterness and grudgings. And it says even if you tell someone thou fool, you be in danger of condemnation yourself. Because look, just because you proclaim someone else is a fool doesn't mean you are wise. You know what I'm saying? And some people think, that's another thing. Get this high and mighty attitude that uh, they can judge everyone and never really judge their own self. That's the thing. And there's something called your unknown sins, or you know what I'm saying? It's called an unknown sin offering. See, I realize how humbling that is, because any person who thinks they're without sin better hurry up and go do an unknown sin offering, because probably you are an offense somewhere and you're blind to it. But if you would acknowledge that, oh yeah, possibly I could have stepped on someone's toes and not realized it, it's showing a repentant heart, and it's not too proud, and it doesn't think so highly of itself that it thinks it's beyond that. Which the fact that you think you're beyond that is a reason to show that you're under that, you're in that, as you know, at the moment. So that fear of the Lord, the opposite is rebellion against God, where they invoke God to wrath, which they did it in the times of Noah, where it said they were doing things intentionally. It was just like they say the Satanic Bible is everything is backwards. Like whatever it says do the opposite. So that is the spirit, the anti-spirit of the fear of the Lord. It's where they turn into this. They're proud of their rebellion. They're proud of their error. They boldly proclaim mammon in front of you, like the prosperity gospel. They name it and proclaim what the devil's system can do for you if you're willing to put your faith into it. And they they do devour up the houses of widows. And they sit in big ass mansions, and they do not sell all their stuff and follow God, or give to those that need. They're really, because there's no way you can have that much and not at some point uh, withheld your charity. You know what I'm saying? Because in order to, I mean, that's not the only kind of charity. Your time, your energy, and your concern, your prayers, all that stuff is good too. But in those people's case, it's like this is the thing you do the least. You save up too much money for yourself, so you're profiting from this. The system's corrupt. How can you have all that money? And people won't acknowledge that. And once again, that's that. They're not fearing the Lord. Their Lord is Mammon. They're showing Mammon respect. They respect Mammon, and You know, and then by therefore you reject all the other aspects of this spirit thing here. It's like it's kind of how it works.